Hey everybody, this is Emehe and welcome to a brand new video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a showcase for you guys of the brand new quality of life update that just came to the game. I can actually show you real quick. It also came with a new Neutronium cosmetics pack, which I'll also be showing you because I bought, but right here, November 2025 quality of life. And it came out with a lot of super cool stuff that I'm really happy about and that fixes a lot of stuff that I didn't like about the game. Alright, so let's get into it. Starting off, I actually want to start with the Neutronium cosmetics pack. I'm going to go ahead and load into my sandbox testing world because the cosmetics are kind of fucking awesome if I'm being honest. Alright, so we go here, supply closet, all, and then we look, Neutronium. It gives you like these cool purple shit for all of these different kind of buildings, so you can see them all here. And it looks really cool. It's like it's not really futuristic. It's kind of like proper, like really fancy, like rich, like New England kind of, like British royalty is kind of what I'm thinking when I look at it almost. I think it's really cool. The only thing I've used in my actual world that I'm currently playing on is this. It's got use cases, but sometimes it does kind of stick out, you know what I mean? But it is super cool, and I'm happy they added it because I think it's awesome. Especially if we change this right here. It looks cool. I like it. Not bad. But with that being said, let's actually get into the rest of the stuff. First off, there's a new story trait, which I can show you right here. New game, story trait, and it is called the Printerceptor, which is enabled by default, and you can't have all 6 story traits. Squeezing this many story traits into an asteroid may cause world gen to fail. Consider lowering the number, which is brand new. They didn't used to have that, but you can only have 5, which is cool. I kind of like. You don't need all 6. In all my playthroughs, I never really end up doing any of them, so it doesn't really affect me. Anyway, Printerceptor. Reboot an unsanctioned biogenetic facility. Once activated, duplicants can use it to siphon energy from the printing pod to power on-demand printing of something. It smells a bit like Old Ranch. That sounds really cool and it sounds useful. I don't really know what it does or what it can do, but I'm excited to go look and find out. There it is, in the middle of revealing, and I already see it out of the corner of my eye. Does anybody else spot it before I go down to it? It is currently on the screen somewhere. I spy with my little eye. It's right here. Printerceptor. My duplicants have uncovered a fascinating machine. Its construction suggests that it is designed as an energy field disruptor and retrofitted with printing capabilities. It is locked behind a 13-digit passcode. One failed attempt can permanently disable the entire building. I can only hope that the code is buried somewhere on this world. Holy crap, that's scary. Well, that sucks. Don't mess it up. Let me see if I can find the code for y'all so I can showcase it. Again, I've never even done this. This is my first time experimenting with this, so I don't know how to do it. So in the meantime, we can actually go through and look at some other stuff, because why not? So what's next? They added a banquet hall. Yep, it's a brand new room right here, banquet hall, which is the better version of the Great Hall, which is weird because now you've got level 1, level 2, and level 3. Most things don't even have a level 2, but the Great Hall, or the recreational eating room, the dining room, has 3 levels, which is cool. So let me go ahead and showcase it to you. It's got a minimum size of 32, maximum of 120, same as the Great Hall. So I can go ahead and throw it down wherever I want. I'll go ahead and do it right here. Okay, I'll just do 64 because that's a pretty traditional size. And then the requirements that it has, first off, this is 68 tiles, not 64, oopsie doopsie. The requirements that it has is kind of interesting. So it's pretty much the same as a Great Hall. You need the table, so dining table or communal table. For the banquet hall, you need communal. No industrial machinery, a decor building, a recreational building, and then a displayed ornament, which I also think is new. Not too sure. I'll show you what that is. First off, let's talk about the new building, the banquet, or not the banquet. What is it called? The MMUN. Communal table right here. It looks awesome. I like how it looks a lot. I just got rid of it. Hold up. Oh my god. Yep, communal table. So we can throw one there, one there. Nice, something like that. Actually, what I'll do is I'll go like that. So then there's a 2-block gap on each side. I like how that looks. So that's almost what we need. Then we need a recreational building. So that will be something like the espresso, hot tub, juicer. What I like to do is a water cooler. It's very simple, very easy. We can disable it, and then duplicants can't use it, which is good. And then next thing we need, which is, see, this is a mess hall, but the next thing we need to make it a banquet hall is the big thing, which is a display ornament. So what that means is, first off, we need to display. If I actually look up here and just go display ornament, there's 2 things that you need to do this. You can either use the pedestal or the display shelf, which is also brand new. We're gonna go ahead and use the display shelf. because again, it's new. So the display shelf goes against a wall, so I'll actually delete these like this, right? Display. Wait, what? How does this work? Display shelf. Must be built against a back wall. Oh, interesting. So you actually need a drywall. Okay, and drywall is one of the changes that I like that they've made recently to this game is all of the blueprints or all of the designs for the drywall. Blueprints, yeah. So I'm gonna do something cool, like, we'll just do wood. It'll be nice and classy. It'll be a classy place to eat. There we go. Build that up just like that. And then we can apply the display pedestal. We can throw 2 right here. And then, oh, and they mesh together. That's cool. That's super cool, okay? And then before I do that, I'm actually gonna throw down a marble block, just like that. I wish that I had a duplicate with, oh, we do, aesthetic design. Nice, okay. Somebody get on that, please. Oh, never mind, they can't. But then what this is this is how you display stuff, same as the pedestal. You display something cool. So the things that you can display, sandstone, sink, Rubik's Cube, all this stuff, all the fancy stuff that you find. So what I'm gonna do is I think I'm going to do a carved lumen quartz. Sure, why not? Lumen carved Rubik. Sadly, I can't actually spawn in the Rubik's Cube or the crystal or anything like that because I don't have sandbox tools, the mod enabled, and I think you need it. I don't have it enabled because a bunch of mods don't work right now because they just updated the game. Happens every time. Just happens. So we're gonna have to deal without it being cool. Unless one of the things that it already has works, like a gear bomb. Select. It does not, but at least it's a great haul. But if you do get it to a banquet hall, it gives you +6 morale instead of +4, which I think is the biggest morale boost out of any fucking building in the game, which is insane. Super awesome building there, and super awesome room, and a bunch of new buildings that they added, which are super cool. I think the display shelf is awesome, and I also think the communal table looks great. I'm really happy that they added that, and I think it's cool. On the topic of newer buildings, they also added in a insulated door, which takes fiber and then obviously a thing, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's an insulated door. When it's closed, unlike any other door in the game, it simply makes it so that temperature can't pass through, or rather it's insulated. Same as an insulated tile, temperature can pass through, but it's much less. It's much more protected, and it looks cool when it opens up, and when it closes, it's got like these yellow bars. Super awesome there. Communal table, which we already talked about. The plywood press, which is brand new, and so is plywood. If we go and look at the plywood press, let me place that right here. Let me actually get some ladders so my duplicates can do shit. And I actually need to set up just a couple of generators because I need power to make this work. Crazy, I'm building a little mock base right now. It's kind of cool. There we go. So what this does, plywood press combines a binder liquid and plant husk to create plywood. Flattened plant bits are a useful wood substitute. Jesus, I can't talk. Gives off some heat, takes 480 watts to function, which is kind of cool. But you may be asking, well, what is plywood? I'll show you. Hold on. First off, I need to get a binder liquid. Let me actually just look right here. So it takes clay, or no, hold on. Make it, what does it take? There we go. Plant husk and resin. So let me go ahead and spawn those in so that we can actually see it work. Plant husk. And plant husk you get, I've already noticed it in my game, auto clicker. You get it from just farming. Like when you harvest a plant, it just has a chance of dropping, I'm pretty sure. Which is super cool. Kind of annoying because already with farms, you just have a bunch of shit on the floor after harvesting, but it's cool. If we do this, this is what it looks like when it goes. There we go. It's going. This guy's doing it. Get out of the way, you fucks. There we go. Looks pretty cool. It's like sawing and mashing and squirting and a bunch of stuff. Okay, cool. There we go. Now we've got some plywood. Now, what is plywood, you may be asking? Well, it can be used in a whole bunch of stuff. First off, it can be turned into carbon dioxide, which is cool. But it can be used to make ceramic. It can be turned into refined carbon. And it's also used... Okay, that's interesting. It's pretty much just a fuel. It's another fuel so you don't have to use wood or peat. Okay, so you can use it in the smoker to smelt a bunch of stuff. That's awesome. So it's just another easy way to get fuel if need be. See, if we go to clay, normally you have to use wood or coal to get ceramic, combining it with clay, but now you can use plywood, which is super awesome. And to get refined carbon, you also don't need to use coal. So if you happen to have an infinite thing of plant husks, which is really easy, again, you just need to farm. And then if you have an infinite thing of resin, which isn't impossible, right? It might be a little bit difficult, but you could do it with eggs You could also do it with amber, which I know you can get infinite of, I think. Anyway, it's cool. It's an easy way to get fuel instead of having to use coal. It's awesome. You can't use it in a coal generator though, I believe, which sucks. A display shelf, which we already talked about, and then it also added a biodiesel engine, which is again awesome. Hold on, let me just grab a rocket platform. There we go. A biodiesel engine right here, base above rocket blocked. Is that right? Oh, interesting. Okay, well, let's see. Dig that. Come on. There we go. Biodiesel engine takes steel, and biodiesel engine, let's go ahead and look, burns biodiesel to produce propulsion, obviously. Now, what is biodiesel new? I don't think so. It might be. How do you get biodiesel? Transitions from tallow. That's it. You can only get it from tallow. Oh, wow. No. Produced by, okay, an emulsifier or a milking station with moose, specifically husky moose, which is cool. So it must not be new. So that's going to be your main way of getting it, is by farming the moo cows that you find in space. So it's just going to be another rocket option. It's got, how much power does it have? How good is it? Height 5. No. How do you see its speed? If we look at the Hydro engine, as you can see right there, the Hydro engine is better in everything, but not by much. Its speed is 55, so this is particularly slow. The bio engine is not super quick. It's actually only slower by 20, but it's going to be a lot cheaper than the hydrogen engine. Where is it in the skill tree? Okay, you unlock it with the petroleum engine. So how good is the petroleum engine compared to it? Petroleum engine has one less burden, and a lot more speed, and the same height, but uses less fuel. So it's the only use case for it is if you're in a world that happens to not have petroleum. You can't get petroleum, but for some reason you have a lot of biodiesel or biofuel, whatever it's called. So yeah, that's gonna be your main use for it. Kind of cool. Won't complain. Some other changes: duplicants with the crop tending skill. Actually, let me just pull this over for you guys while I'm reading through the stuff that I can't showcase. I'll zoom in post.
Duplicants with the crop tending skill can now salvage plant husks when harvesting certain plants. This is in addition to those plants' usual products. Harvesting grass now produces a large amount of plant husk, which is awesome. Adding a new biodiesel producing gassy moo. Okay, so the gassy moo, or the husky moo, is new. Feeding plant husk to a gassy moo increases its chance of becoming husky moo. And then plywood, which we already talked about. And then it added door side screen UI to set permissions. I'll show you that. And then all critters now semi-regularly play a happy or sad emote animation to show certain states and effects. Again, awesome.
Let me show you that brand new UI, which is one of the first things I noticed when I played. As you can see, they've got compact sliders. I like the new UI. It's a little bit cleaner. You see you've got it for people, bionics, and then also normal robots. Or not normal robots, which normally you could not filter them to go in certain doors. So this is not necessarily a worthwhile, people have been waiting for it, but it's nice, I guess. It's cool, right? It's there. Also a new thing that they added is the wicker door, which is a door that encloses areas without blocking anything. Everything can get through except for critters. That is its main thing, is it stops critters. Gas, electric, it's literally the exact same as a pneumatic door. I don't know why they added that. What's the difference? Nothing. Weird. It just looks different. In fact, it looks a lot cooler. How does it open? That's gonna be the test. Let's see. Okay, that's cool. It looks fine, I guess. I also wanted to show you this new UI. The research screen has new UI. I really love it. First off, it's rounded, and it's got this like dark gray top, which is beautiful. When you click it, it turns all of it to gold or yellow or orange, actually, yellow-orange, both. And it's got this nice yellow border when you hover over it. It looks so much nicer. I love that it's rounded. It looks great. I just wish now that they would update this part, all of it to start matching, because this UI needs a little bit of an update, specifically the top right. I think this is nice how it's rounded and has the shadow. Some of it could use an update. Next up, spaced out only. Let me show you this. It added a research module for rockets, which collects data banks from space POIs. Where is that? That'll make research a lot easier. Right here, research module. That looks super cool. Nice, it's small. It's not super big, so it won't take a lot of weight. That's awesome. If you've got some POIs that you're going to, this can help you get a lot of research a lot quicker. Instead of just having to constantly send one duplicant up to orbit and then back down, back up, back down, and let them just constantly keep doing research. This will be a lot quicker, and I think it'll stop you from having to do that repetitive kind of thing, which I think is awesome, because that was annoying. They also added something called the Shatter Flocks, which is a new Phlox morph, which is the little deer looking fox dude. Looks super cool. dude. It looks fucking awesome. Shatterfloxes are non-hostile critters that can subsist, that can eat crystal blossoms and pikeapple bush. Their shareable glass antlers grow only when they are fed abyssalite grass antlers. They can live in fucking any temperature. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, you feed them anything, they give you dirt, but you can also turn them into glass when you shear them, which is awesome. Super easy, renewable glass, super cool. It added the wicker door, which we already talked about. There's a new skill path for bionic duplicants. Bionic duplicants now have a new skill branch for improved hardware right here. Immunity to eye irritation and popped eardrums, and climate control. So this one, immunity to popped eardrums. Holy crap, that's fucking awesome. Bionic duplicants are now insane. I honestly think that bionic duplicants before sucked. This alone might make them better than normal duplicants. Immune to major eye irritation and immunity to minor eye irritation, so both minor and major. That's so fucking awesome. They also have a shit, we've already talked about these guys. Climate control, immunity to toasty and chilly surroundings. What? Wait a minute. Am I crazy, or can you just put these bitches in lava and they'll be fine? That is so overpowered. Holy shit, I'm changing all my duplicates out for bionics in my new game. What? That's actually insane. If I'm not going crazy, that's insane. If I'm understanding that correctly, that is so overpowered. Holy crap. Anyway, they added a new lum morph. Where's the lum? The little fat dude. Yeah, this guy. It's called the Blum Lum. Blum Lum. Whenever they stomp heavily near plants, we've already talked about them. They give you algae instead of peat. Cool. Renewable algae, which is fire. I don't think there's any way to get algae renewably. Phyto oil, actually. That's not really renewable, though. Yeah, so these guys are really your only option unless you convert your slime, which is what most people do, truthfully. But you still, it's like a 1-to-2 ratio, even less than that. So you lose out on a lot of potential, but with these guys, that's cool. Infinite algae, super awesome. Love to see that. It also added something new to the supply closet called Higby. No, that's not it. Higby. Right here. Higby top. That's cool. It's for the monument. Now I'm just gonna kind of rapid fire some of these other minor changes. I can't really showcase these, so I'm gonna bring up this screen.
So let's go through these. Mess tables are now public by default. They will only be restricted for particular duplicants if specifically assigned. They used to not be. Added duplicant starting outfit selection widgets to a new game, which is awesome. I can actually showcase that, but I'm not going to. Pretty much when you select your duplicants at the beginning, you can change your default outfit to whatever you have. The keyboard shortcut Control F now opens a building menu base tab and focuses on the search bar. What does that mean?
Control F? Oh, that's cool. So I can just go Control F and then coal generator.
Nice, that's cool. Control F. I need to remember that. That's awesome. Several items have been added to the category of items that can be displayed on pedestals. That's cool. Some more stuff on pedestals. Large rocket modules now use the wide delivery offset, making it easy for duplicants to deliver to the storage. Awesome. Created a new missile tech item in the research screen and moved meteor blasters and blast shot maker there. Awesome. Let's go ahead and look at that. Research. If I just type in missile.
Yep, right here. Missiles. Awesome. Oops. Right here. So right after celestial detection, which is where you get the brand new research module, you also have missiles, which is where you get the blast shot and the meteor blaster. Cool.
Several buildings that use liquids in their animations were updated to show the color of the liquid being used instead of showing the same color. Awesome, that's super cool, more immersion. Revised soda fountain animation to work better when placed against a wall or the edge of a floor. Awesome. Fixed crash relating to displayed control items and tooltips. I remember that crash. That's happened to me a few times. That's awesome. Wood materials now produce a plus 50% decor boost. Insane. This applies to the sauna, hot tub, wood tile, and wood block. Jet suits. Significantly increased jet suits' movement speed, increased their fuel consumption, and okay, so they're better. Duplicants and jet suits prioritize flying over walking when both navigation options are available. Awesome. Adjusted animations. Jet suits now require a textile ingredient to fabricate. Makes sense. Jet suits no longer require petroleum or fabricate initially, but must be fueled at a jet suit dock before first use. Again, makes sense. That's actually awesome that they no longer need petroleum. I am so happy about that. Wait, only initially. Gotcha. But you still need them to have that over time for lubricant. Makes sense. Jet suits can now be fueled by any combustible liquid. Jet suits will now show small smoke particles for each thruster. I thought they did that before. Awesome. We got a lot to go. Holy crap, we have a lot to go. Okay, we don't have too much left to go, it looks like, so we're good. Jet suits. All right, now on to critters. Added scale growth penalty to miserable critters. Makes sense. Shinebug eggs now drop some resin when cracked at the egg cracker. Shinebug eggs now drop some resin. Oh, wait a minute. I actually think I noticed that in my game. Cool. I don't give a fuck. Items dropped by critters upon death now spawn at the critter's body temperature. That makes sense. Increases the number of shine bugs that can fit in a room before. Actually, that's awesome because I used to kill like animals that had to be in the cold or in the heat, and they would always drop at like normal temperature, and it was weird. Increases the number of shine bugs that can fit in a room before they experience cramped and/or crowded effects. That's awesome. Gas grass is enabled for harvest by default. Makes sense. Crowding. It'll now be they changed. Okay, hold on. It will now be calculated based on space allocated to each individual critter rather than assuming all critters are allocated the same amount of space. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It takes a higher number of small critters to crowd large critters than it used to. So instead of each critter needing the same amount of space, that makes a lot of sense, actually. Very happy about that. A little bit more realistic. aquatic critters will now consider other aquatic critters and eggs that are in the same pool as them when determining their crowded status. I don't really like that. Okay, the crowded modifier is now relative to the critter's personal space requirement. That is, larger critters will generally suffer a lower happiness penalty than smaller critters when they inhabit the same room. That makes a lot of sense. A gorilla would be a lot sadder in a room versus a fucking squirrel. The tooltip for the crowded status now specify how many members of each critter are present. Makes a lot of sense. The floppy status for fish now displays in a red font with an exclamation mark. That makes sense because it is literally them dying and fighting for their lives. Rooms. Removed the light source requirement for the laboratory room. I don't really have an opinion about that. I actually don't like that because it's good having a light there because it makes your duplicates work faster. Added banquet hall. Reduced mess hall and great hall moral benefits. I noticed that. They're 2 and 4 now instead of like 4 and 6, which I think that's kind of lame, if I'm being honest. Now you have to have a banquet hall. Added the ornament object category. Ornaments are special class of decor objects that can be displayed on a pedestal or display shelf. Makes sense. That's like artifacts and shit that we talked about. Any room types that require high decor items they now require an ornament display. Wait a minute, is that true? That super sucks. So something like a private bedroom. Yeah, it needs an ornament. Wait, no it doesn't. The only thing that needs a display ornament is the banquet hall. Yeah, that's literally the only thing. What the fuck does it... Okay, anyway. That changed on paper, I don't like, but clearly it's not in effect. Decor buildings or room requirements. Flower pots and decor plants no longer count as 2 separate decor items. That sucks, because those used to be a cheat that used to be a really cheap way just to get a lot of decor. I'm disappointed that changed. It makes sense though. An empty flower pot would not count. Makes sense. If a flower pot contains a healthy decor plant, the combination will count as 1 decor item. Awesome. Okay, never mind. Fuck yeah. If a flower pot becomes non-operational, so like it dies, or the plant wilts, it will not count as a decor item. I didn't think it did before. Artables, like sculptures and shit like that, will not count as decor buildings until they have been completed by an artist. I again thought that was like that before, okay. Pedestals and display shelves will not be considered decor buildings if they lose their foundation. Pedestals, negative items, no display objects. Okay, that doesn't really matter. Sandbox. Well, we don't really care about sandbox. UI. We already talked about the UI. Database. We also already talked about database. Spaced out only. Duplicants now get thrilling fright status from being in space. Awesome, that probably makes them happy. Small morale bonus and increased stress, which makes sense. Ground-based telescopes now produce a small amount of databanks when revealing star-type hexes. Improved rocket interior background visuals while traveling through space. Awesome. Star maps petals are now referred to as hexes consistently throughout the game instead of sharing the term tile with world tiles. Makes sense. Added an organic mass field space POI near the start new saves only that modifies all space POI positioning and seeds. Cool. Added abyssal and granite to the rocky. Okay, we don't really care about these. Rad bolts. Moved rad bolt droid placed to an earlier tech tree. Where are they? Minor improvements to Jabo navigation. Attempts to prevent baby critters growing up getting stuck in a tile if the adult is larger than the baby. I noticed that a couple times as well. Awesome. A bunch of bug fixes, which super awesome. Glad that the devs take priority in that. Some fixes with UI glitches. Some more fixes, performance fixes, which I've actually seen a lot of people complain about a lot of stuff. Specifically about what is it? It might not be here. Oh, right here. Significantly reduce the number of memory allocations per frame. No, that's not it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm glad they did that. Significantly changes to modding, which is awesome. Significant changes to the type of objects passed. We don't care about this. None of us know how to mod. Added a bunch of stuff to the supply closet. Made some fixes, and that's it. Fuck yeah, that was less reading than I thought it was gonna be. Hell yeah.
Anyway, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all loved this update, and then I hope it satisfies every single one of you. It's an amazing quality of life update in my eyes. I give it an 8.1 out of 10. I think that there's some changes that I wish they would have made, again with some UI, but those are big changes, I understand. I think a lot of the bugs that they fixed are awesome. I think the new buildings that they added are worthwhile, and I think the new room they added is cool. They added a good amount of content for the time that we had to wait for this. I think overall it was good. I'm happy that they did it. It makes sense. And it kind of hit all my marks. So good job. Who created Auction Not Included? What's the company's name? I always forget. Good job, Clay. Yep, good job, Clay, coming from the YouTuber with 1,000 fucking subscribers, so I'm sure you'll see this. Anyway, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. If you go comment, tell me what video you want me to play. Swear to God, if you don't fucking tell me what video you guys want me to play, I'm gonna lose my mind. I need video suggestions, so tell me in the comments. I guarantee I'll play your game. Anyway, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, and goodbye.